The toast that ended my marriage. My wife's entire family stopped talking to me after I made one stupid toast at her grandmother's birthday. 3 days later, I found out my wife knew exactly what that toast meant. And bro, I wish I'd never said those words. I'd been married to Emily for 6 years. Her family was huge, loud, and weirdly traditional. Every birthday, anniversary, and holiday ended with everyone raising their glasses while Grandma Ruth sat at the head of the table like the CEO of the entire family. For her 80th birthday, about 40 people showed up. Halfway through dinner, Emily's uncle stood up and tapped his glass. Tradition says the newest person in the family gives Grandma the birthday toast. Everyone looked at me. I'd been married to Emily for 6 years, but apparently I'd never been initiated into whatever ridiculous tradition they had. Emily leaned over and whispered, "Just say something from the heart." So I stood up. I looked at Grandma Ruth and said, "To the woman who raised an incredible family, I hope everyone here gets to experience the kind of love and loyalty you've given us." Everyone smiled. Then I added the first thing that came to mind. "And if I ever stop deserving Emily, I promise I'll be the first person to tell her." The room went completely silent. Not awkward, silent, dead silent. I looked around. Emily had gone pale. Her mother was staring at her. Grandma Ruth slowly put her glass down. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Who told you?" I laughed nervously. "Told me what?" Nobody answered. Emily grabbed my arm. "We're leaving." On the drive home, she wouldn't speak. I kept asking what I'd done. Finally, she said, "You shouldn't have said that." "Why?" "Because you weren't supposed to know." BROOOO! That sentence kept me awake all night. The next morning, Emily's brother blocked me, then her mother, then her cousin. By lunch, I'd somehow been removed from the family group chat I'd been in for 6 years. I called Emily, straight to voicemail. 3 days later, I got a phone call from someone I barely knew. It was Emily's Aunt Claire. She lived 3 states away and apparently hadn't attended a family gathering in years. She said, "You really don't know what that toast means, do you?" "No," she sighed. "Every man who married into this family was told the same thing. If you ever stop deserving your wife, you announce it at Grandma's table." I laughed. "I wasn't announcing anything." "I know." She paused. "That's why I'm calling you." Then she told me the part that made my stomach drop. The phrase wasn't just a family tradition, it was a code. Years ago, Emily's grandfather had cheated on Grandma Ruth. At her birthday dinner, he stood up and gave the exact same speech I'd just given. He thought he was making a romantic promise. Instead, Grandma understood it as a confession, because in their family, only someone hiding something was supposed to say those words. I asked Claire the obvious question. "How was I supposed to know that?" She went quiet. Then she said, "You weren't." I drove straight to Emily's parents' house. The entire family was there. I walked inside and looked at Emily. "Did you know what those words meant?" She couldn't look at me. I asked again. She whispered, "Yes." Everything suddenly made sense. She hadn't been shocked because I accidentally broke a tradition. She was shocked because she knew exactly what everyone would think I was confessing. Then Claire walked into the room. She looked at Emily and said, "Tell him the rest." Emily started crying. Apparently, she'd been cheating on me for months, and the night of Grandma's birthday, she'd already planned to tell her family she wanted a divorce. She just hadn't figured out how. My stupid toast gave her the perfect excuse. She let everyone believe I was the one admitting I'd betrayed her. I looked at her and asked one question. "Why didn't you just tell the truth?" She couldn't answer. Grandma Ruth finally spoke from across the room. "Because telling the truth would have made her the villain." Nobody said anything. Emily covered her face with both hands. I looked at Grandma Ruth. "How long have you known?" She stared at Emily for a few seconds. "Since before the birthday." That hit harder than I expected. "You knew she was cheating?" Grandma nodded. "She came to me 2 weeks before your birthday. She wanted my permission to leave you." I looked at Emily. "You told her?" Emily finally looked up. "I was going to tell you." "When?" She didn't answer. Grandma Ruth did. "After the party." I actually laughed. Not because anything was funny. Because suddenly the entire night made sense. Emily hadn't been scared that I'd accidentally revealed some secret family tradition. She'd been scared that Grandma would realize what she was doing. I asked her, "Who is he?" Emily whispered his name. It was her coworker. Someone I'd met. Someone I'd shaken hands with. Someone she told me was just a friend. BROOOO! I felt sick. Then Aunt Claire walked over and placed her phone on the table. "I think you should see this." It was a screenshot. Emily had been texting him that afternoon. One message said, "Tonight is the night. After dinner, I'm telling everyone I'm done with him." Another message came right after. "I just need a way to make sure they don't hate me." I stared at the screen. Then I looked at Emily. "So that's why you let them think I cheated?" She started crying. I panicked. "You didn't panic." I shook my head. "You planned it." She couldn't argue with that. Then Grandma Ruth stood up. She's 80 years old, but somehow the entire room went silent when she did. She looked at Emily and said, "Your grandfather taught me something a long time ago." Emily wiped her tears. Grandma continued, "A lie can protect you for one night." She looked at me. "But eventually, someone innocent has to pay for it." Nobody moved. Then Grandma turned toward the rest of the family. "Unblock him." Emily's brother immediately pulled out his phone. Her mother started crying. Her uncle looked embarrassed. One by one, everyone apologized, but I wasn't interested in apologies anymore. I looked at Emily. "Do you still want the divorce?" She nodded through her tears. "Yes." I nodded back. "Then you should have just said that." She whispered, "I'm sorry." "I know." I picked up my jacket. As I walked toward the door, Grandma Ruth stopped me. "Wait." I turned around. She walked over and handed me a small envelope. "Your grandfather's old letter." I opened it later in my car. Inside was a handwritten note. It said, "Never confess to something you didn't do just because someone else needs a villain." I sat there for a long time, staring at those words. 6 months later, Emily and I finalized the divorce. I never saw her family again, except Grandma Ruth. She still calls me every birthday. And last year, she invited me to dinner. When I arrived, there was a cake on the table and 40 people sitting around it. I looked at Grandma. "Please tell me nobody expects a toast." She smiled. "No." Then she raised her glass. "Tonight we tell the truth." Everyone laughed. I raised mine too. And for the first time since that terrible birthday, I didn't feel like a villain in someone else's story.